why is it that people don't buy from our site? What's the problem on our site? Okay, so I'm going to go through some of the typical problems, why people don't buy from a site, and show you some ways you can actually do and help that. Okay, so first of all, of course, we're going to go two things, right? So one of all, the first reason that people don't buy your product or services is because it does not help them solve their problem. Now, this is something that you should know as a business itself. I wouldn't have to tell you this. It's something that you have to fix on your own, and I can't help you with this because no matter what kind of products you do, service or product that you provide to people, you have to be able to solve their problem. If not, well, you basically is not in a business. All right, so most businesses are built up to solve problems. You are a solution provider. Okay, so number two, they don't believe you. So a lot of businesses run in a way that they look a bit scammy. People don't believe you. So once we get these two items out of the way, first of all, your products has to solve people's problem. And number two, people have to believe you. Now let's go into the other 7 reasons why customers don't buy, typically from your website or for something that you have online. So first of all, the first thing of all is a lot of customers, when it comes to websites, e-commerce sites, no matter what you have online, whether it's just a Facebook page or more, is number one, they don't see the value your product brings them. Now this is really important. So one of the things that we can do is we have to think about the customer or the end first, right? Instead of thinking of our end. So there's a lot of marketers today who are pretty much selfish in a way. Okay, so what they do is they think about themselves. Oh, what is in it for me? When I run ads, what is my ROI? So it's me, and me, right? But in a lot of cases, when we are in a business, whether it's online or offline, it's about providing value to people. So when we think about ourselves, then it shows in our marketing. So when it comes to doing online marketing, we have to think about the people, your customers. What's the value that your product and services provides to your customers? And your customers have to see that value, right, before they actually would buy something from you, whether it's a product, whether it's a service. Number two, they don't know what to buy. So a lot of times, I'll show you this in some examples later on. In a few cases, right, when it comes to e-commerce sites, your customers goes to your website, but your e-commerce site is filled up with all these products that they do not know what to buy, right? This also happens to a lot of people. Number three, no urgency to buy right now. So a lot of sites today, as I have noticed, they have beautiful pages, they have beautiful websites that win awards, but when they push their products on their site, they don't put any urgency to buy it right now. So that's a huge problem. Number four, they don't understand your website. So again, sites can be really beautiful, it can be like top-notch, can be winning awards, but if your customer do not understand your site, you have lost their sale. Number five, they have no time. So a lot of sites today have very long and sophisticated sign-up forms and also order forms, and people generally do not have time. Now, so think about it this way. The lesser clicks you can provide for your customers, that means if you want them to do, let's say, do X, which is buy something, how many clicks do they have to do or take before they are able to buy that something, right? If that clicks is more than easily 10, 15, now you are in trouble, right? So your site has to be efficient. That's in a way that you reduce the clicks that someone has to take to do something, whether to download something, to send you a contact form, or whichever. Number six, they got distracted. So this happens so much as well. So right, they go around your site, right? And your site has so many buttons, so many links, they get distracted. So this is one big reason why customers don't buy from websites as well. And number seven, they don't feel secure. So a lot of sites looks dodgy. And because people have been burned by all these types of scams and things that are happening online right now, they don't feel secure sometimes when it comes to buying from a small player or someone who's just starting out. So if you're someone who's just going into the e-commerce arena, the selling things online, sometimes people don't trust you. Right? You have to be very honest with that. And people, when people come to your site, they do not see the faces behind the site. They don't see an office address. They don't see a phone number. They wouldn't buy. They're not secure. So let me give you some examples of these 7 reasons. So one reason, right, is they don't see value. So, for example, if you look at my example here, I have a screenshot of IKEA, right? and I actually had it covered by this Getah, right? Getah is also a Malaysian brand that sells these latex pillow, which are pretty expensive. So my initial point I want to show you here is that on the IKEA page, what if this place there is just a pillow? Well, we all know the benefits of pillow. We all need a pillow to sleep at night, right? But if we turn the pillow into something like what Getah has done here, now Getah is trying to sell you the benefits of this pillow, right? So instead of just, oh, it's a pillow, Getah's going to say, oh, this is for sleep-sensitive individuals, health-conscious sleeper. It's a weekend pillow. So again, if you scroll down on the landing page more, you'll see more benefits. So one thing that a lot of users do these days and business owners do these days is when it comes to their site, they become out of sudden they become very formal. So they start thinking about the features of their product. So let's say you sell pillows today and you'll be thinking like, oh, what does my pillow do? My pillow is durable, my pillow is what? But you're thinking about features, right? Now, what's the benefits towards your customers? So how do you sell a pillow to someone? Do they sleep better with your pillow? Do they have, maybe they can sleep shorter and still reap the goodness of sleep? Well, that's up to you, but I'm not someone who sells pillow, but you get the idea. Okay, so number 2, don't know what to buy. This is the second problem, right? So the second problem is sometimes on your site you have so many products. Let's say you sell, I don't know, potato chips or something, and you have 20 types of potato chips online. Now, your customer is going to be confused. Have you been to the supermarket, right? And you see something like what I've shown you in this picture here, right? Maybe 10 or 15 types of items that is exactly the same, and you're just confused because you're looking like, okay, which one do I get? And you start trying to pick. You start trying to pick the best thing that you need at that time, at that moment, right? What is the best out of all this commodity here? So sometimes when it comes to e-commerce sites, when you are too complex and you put up too many products for them to buy, it counterintuitively end up getting them not to buy something, right? So this is something that we have to observe. Now, number 3, no urgency. So a lot of sites forget putting the urgency. So again, urgency can be done very selfishly, or they can be done in a way that is generous as well. So for example, in this screenshot here, I have Sephora, and you can see that they don't have much urgency there, except they have a bracket that says limited edition. Now, that don't seem like it does much, but for people who are in the market to buy a Fenty Beauty highlighter and know that this is limited edition, meaning that this is only limited in quantity that they can get, they probably have that urgency to take action right now. So most e-commerce websites today have to put an urgency into their products. So there are a few ways you can put urgency into your products. It does not have to be just limited units or limited price. So more often than not, most people put in price. Oh, this is going to be more expensive in the future, right? But there are so many other ways. For example, if you sell something like an event or a webinar, there can be limited spots. So at least we limit our spots to 100 people. That's also an urgency, but we're not lying about that. It's because it's true. Our webinars is only limited to 100 people, not YouTube Live, but our webinars, right? Now, you can also put things like limited units, or we only have limited units left, but be honest with that. Now, urgency can be also a form of social pressure, as in like, for example, maybe if you sell perfumes, right? And you can put in an urgency that says, oh, 10,000 people have gone ahead and bought this perfume. Why haven't you? Right? That's a social pressure. That's also an urgency. Now, FOMO stands for fear of missing out. So if everyone is doing something, I don't want to miss out. So how can you induce this towards your customers, include your visitors, in a way that is generous? Now, upfront difficulty. What do I mean by upfront difficulty? I don't have an example to show you what upfront difficulty means. But for example, have you come across a site where you had to go through a lengthy process of a survey? For example, think of a university, right? You have to go through a lengthy process of the interview, whichever the survey, meeting the person in live on a webinar call or a meeting, right? So you've gone through all that effort to come to a point, and once you're at a point, it's going to be difficult to say no because you have gone through and invested all that time and effort to get to that spot. So you can also do this for an e-commerce site as well. And the last one, loss aversion. Now, we always have loss aversion, as in if we don't take action right now, we'll lose something at the end. So that's loss aversion. So there's many ways. This is not the only few ways that you can put an urgency, but these are some great ideas you can start off with. All right, so moving on, next thing, right? A lot of people don't understand your site. So this is the next problem, right? So for example, we're going to go back to Geta right now. And if you look at their site, you can see that they have so many types of menus, right? Nano silver mattress, topper, protector, pillows, baby junior. Now, for someone who is not an expert in, well, pillows, he'll be confused. I'm sure some of you will be confused here, right? What is Geta greetings? What are all these different things? What kind of pillows can I choose? What kind of pillows would suit me? So if someone do not understand what you're trying to sell or what you're trying to portray in your site, you have lost them. So I do not have data of how well Geta does with their e-commerce site, but you see Geta still needing sales reps, sales representative at their store to explain, right? To explain what kind of pillows suit someone. So I've had an impression that their site does not really convert that well, but I may be wrong. All right, so and the next one is no time or patience. So this is the next problem, right? So a lot of people have no time or patience when it comes to putting up a long form like this. So if you're selling something and you have a long form with where you're collecting people's name, emails, phone numbers, country, project type, estimate budget, people get lazy. So what we can do is we can shorten this whole process up by putting a quick way to collect information, and then once we have gotten them into our funnel or our email automation or whichever, then and only then we ask them for the further information. So the tip here is to cut down user friction. If there's a lot of friction towards putting down a lead or buying something, then this is going to be friction, and that's going to be bad for your users. Okay, now the next thing, if you go to Lazada, you go to Zalora or whichever e-commerce site, you notice something, that they have all these kind of security logos that they paste around their site that tells people and say, hey, we are secure, right? You can pay with Visa, MasterCard, Amex, Touch and Go. We are verified by all these different bodies. We are encrypted and more to signal to you and say, hey, we are secure. You don't have to worry when it comes to buying from us. So sometimes a lot of younger e-commerce sites forget to put all these logos on your site. So if you're someone like that, you would benefit a lot by putting all these security logos and also guarantees to reduce the risk of someone who is going to buy something from your site.